Hello, welcome. I hope you are doing well today. So today we're going to be reading through some Am I the Butthole? So if that sounds like something you'd be into, then stick around and enjoy. Am I the butthole for going to my sister's place after my dad's wife was rushed to the hospital? A week ago, my dad's wife, who's 7 months pregnant, was rushed to the hospital after she started bleeding and having issues breathing. My dad's in-laws were at the house at the time visiting their daughter and grandkids when it happened. My dad went with his wife. I, 17M, went to my sister's 22F place instead of staying with my dad's in-laws and his stepdaughter 10 and other kids 3 and 18 months. My dad's in-laws wanted me to stay with the kids so they could go to the hospital to make sure their daughter was okay. I just wanted to get out though, and I left without discussing it more. I ended up spending 3 nights with my sister before dad showed up and demanded I go back to his house. I feel like the fact that you call the house his house and not just home says an awful lot here. For context about why I didn't stay and dynamics, sister and I are full siblings. Dad left mum when she was pregnant with me. After he left home, he got a job driving trucks and wasn't around much. Then he moved an hour from us and started seeing us more. Then he moved even closer and tried to get equal parenting time, but since he hadn't taken all the time he was offered before, never paid his child support, and didn't have a place big enough to give us our own rooms, and wouldn't give up his bedroom for one of us, he was turned down. He ended up getting married, becoming a stepdad, and having more kids with his wife. Now, isn't that just a kick in the groin when your dad doesn't bother with you, and then he shacks up with some new woman and starts popping out kids like there's no tomorrow and is a dad to them? Yeah, that can't feel nice. Last year, my mum died and my dad and sister battled in court for custody. I wanted to live with my sister. The court said my dad should get a chance since he never really had much time with me. Through his own fault? What? They said my sister was too young to really support me like dad could. I protested, but it didn't help. The courts are a sham. Honest to God, why? Your dad didn't care before, why should he get a chance to now? And it's not really he's getting a chance to, you're just being forced to go there. I'm going to go live with my sister as soon as I turn 18, and we have a plan for that. Dad doesn't know, but keeps trying to make me forgive him and give his family a chance and try and be a family with them. I'm not interested. Not in his kids either. He tried to sell me on being an older sibling until he realized I don't care about his kids. Now he wants you to be a flaming babysitter for free. That's what he wants. His wife decided if I didn't want to give them a chance, then she wouldn't let me have any photos of my mum or my sister in her house. What an absolute twat waffle. I gave them all to my sister. She even went through my stuff to see. Ever since she reminds me almost daily that I'll regret not wanting anything to do with her kids when they're older. She also wished for my sister to end up homeless because my sister didn't want to know her kids either. She should really be looking at this and going, oh my goodness, what kind of an absolute deadbeat am I with? Oh, and because she had gone to court to make sure dad was going to still pay the child support for her, that he never paid mum. Absolutely. I love that your sister did that. Back to the current stuff. After my dad made me go back to his place, he yelled at the top of his lungs at me for abandoning my family. Oh, wow, that's rich. And for not showing more concern for his wife and the unborn baby, or for the kids who could have lost their mum for all I knew. He told me he deserved better than that. He doesn't. I told him he deserved nothing from me or my sister. He told me my actions showed I'm not growing into a man, but a pathetic little boy. Am I the butthole? I would argue that your dad is a pathetic little boy and absolutely not a man, because a man doesn't leave his kid's mum when she's pregnant to go off gallivanting trucking, and then as soon as he gets a new missus, he wants to play happy families, popping out kids, looking after her kids, still not giving 2 bits of a damn about the kids he's already got. No, you're not the butthole and your dad is disgusting. Next up, am I the butthole for putting a lock on my bedroom door in the apartment I share with my husband and his family member? Sorry it's long. That's okay. Gives me more to read. My husband and I live with his sibling G in an apartment that's paid for by his family. G frequently brings friends over, and one of them, L, is a frequent guest who practically lives with us at this point. I tend to avoid the common areas because I get anxious and uncomfortable around so many people, but I don't really mind keeping to myself. That's me all over, that is. Sometimes you just need that time to yourself, don't you? I have a vanity room where I keep my clothes and jewellery, and I installed a small camera there for peace of mind as no one locks the apartment door day or night, and I wanted to protect my valuables. This creeps me out so much. Right, so I was having a conversation with my friend not so long ago. She has her door unlocked all the time. She'll go for a bath and her door is unlocked. And I'm just like, no. Lock your door. As soon as you get in the house, lock the door behind you. Lock the back door. Don't leave doors unlocked. There are so many weirdos out there that are just waiting for an opportunity. Do not give it to them. Keep your doors locked. Safety tips from me here. Later, I decided to put a lock on the vanity room door as an extra security measure. Totally fair if you've got all your jewellery and valuables in there. Recently, while my husband and I were home, G allowed their friend L to enter our personal space without permission, supposedly to charge a device. This was especially unsettling because my husband and I have private personal items in our bedroom, and it felt like a serious invasion of our privacy. I feel that G was also at fault here for allowing a frequent guest to enter such a personal space, especially since it's our private room as a couple. Oh my god, yeah, don't do that. That's really intrusive. After that incident, my husband and I decided to put a lock on our bedroom door for additional privacy. I even explained to Elle beforehand that it was a privacy and safety, given the constant traffic in our apartment. Everything seemed fine until G texted my husband, angrily accusing us of being paranoid and saying locks and cameras aren't necessary because they were raised with trust as a family. Since then, G has been distant and I've been avoiding G and Elle, as I feel like both are upset with me. I tried to reconcile with G, but they were dismissive and rude, leaving me feeling like I was back in school dealing with bullies. It's especially hurtful because I had opened up to both G and Elle about some personal struggles, thinking they would understand why I'd want some extra privacy. Now I feel like I'm an outsider in my own home. So, Reddit, am I the butthole for putting a lock on my bedroom door and wanting more privacy? No, absolutely not. And anybody who is coming into your house needs to abide by the rules of the house. If you say people aren't allowed in your personal bedroom, then people aren't allowed in. If they break that, or if it's not been said, it should still be implied. You shouldn't just be going into anyone's bedroom. My goodness, I even asked my kids to ask if they can go in my bedroom if I'm not in there. If I'm in here, just knock to make sure I'm not getting changed or something. But other than that, come on in. But when I'm not in here, no, stay out my room. That's where I keep all of my things, like my makeup, my laptop, my tablet. Things could get broke and I really don't want to pay to fix. So yeah, even I ask my kids to ask me if they can go in my room if I'm not in there, just so I know what they're doing in there, so that they're not gonna accidentally break something. So yeah, no, absolutely not. I think G's just being really sensitive. I understand why they might feel a bit put out, because they probably think, oh my god, they don't trust me. But at the end of the day, they're living in your apartment. Well, you're living in an apartment with them, which is your apartment too, and that's your personal bedroom. So no, not the butthole. G needs to be more understanding and respect boundaries and privacy. Am I the butthole for going off on someone in public who said if you have 3 holes, you have to pick 2? No, and if you didn't throw a drink at them, I'm going to be very disappointed. My friend, we'll call her Hannah, 25F, likes to go to meetup brunches and sometimes invites me along, even though I'm not personally invested in dating. Met up with a few new guys at an outdoor patio restaurant. I don't even fully remember how the conversation got to there, but one of the guys, I don't know his age, started going off into a direction about how men can't ask for anything today and how they feel emasculated by today's society. Cry about it. I wanted to head out there and probably should have. He probably should have, yes. Hannah presses what he means and he goes on and then in a tone shift says, screw it, I'll say it. Women have 3 holes and 2 should always be in use. Oh my god, sit and swivel, my guy. I could feel my body go to stone and lava at the same time. I said that is one of the shittiest matters a man could say in hopes of getting laid, and that I bet he doesn't hold men to any standard at all, that all women are more than holes you can pick from. That's when he said being the man is the prize and a woman is only worth the hole she can offer, and he told it to every girlfriend he'd ever had to weed them out. I informed him it's no shock he's probably single. He had no shock at all. He just laughed, told Hannah I'd text her later, but I'm not staying here. I put down some money and left. What an absolute bellend. He sounds like, oh my god, he sounds like he wants to be, clipped round the ear roll. Before we left, I could see we were being looked at for the convo, and I wasn't looking to turn brunch into all of this and make a scene. Something in me really snapped at that. I didn't even get to my point that trans and non-binary individuals can't even offer that in many cases. So he's just being extra shitty and misogynistic. Oh, come on now. We know fully well he isn't going to be going for trans and non-binary people, because if he can't even be nice about women, there's no way he's going to be nice to anyone on the broader spectrum of minorities or minority groups, is he? Let's be real. He's just not. Hannah messages me about an hour later asking me if I really needed to go off on him. Yes, you did. It was just an idiot locker room talk. It didn't feel like just locker room talk to me, but I apologized anyways, and I said I probably won't be going to brunch with her anymore when she has dudes from dating apps, and that I'd still go, of course, for girl brunches. She messaged back, whatever. And now I feel like I made a crazy scene when I shouldn't have. Do you think I'm the butthole for saying anything, or should I have just dipped out when I had the gut feeling after his first comment that got me? Thanks for reading. I feel I've definitely caused a rift in our friendship. I'm not being funny, but if your mate thinks that sort of thing is acceptable for somebody to say, then not very good friend. I would fully expect my friend to be joining me in causing a bar brawl, to be quite fair. So if your friend, cannot see how bad it was, what he said, I wouldn't want to go out with her anyway. I mean, what the heck? Like, why on earth would your friend think that it's okay to look the other way when someone's being so disgusting? No, and I would definitely reconsider my friendship with that person, because the fact that they're just okay with shrugging off views like that is so concerning. It's giving pick me and whatever that friggin' what's her face, Pearly whatever, giving that. Am I the butthole for coming out to check on the baby who was screaming for 15 minutes after I asked my husband to watch him? Okay, this happened only about an hour or so ago. My husband, 42M, is really angry right now. I had asked him if he could watch the baby, 3 months male, so I could take a shower. He said yes and took the baby right away. I took my time getting my soaps, towel, washcloth and other shower things organised in the bathroom. During the entire 15 minutes of me being in the bathroom, the baby was crying so hard that he was losing his breath. I was wondering why he was crying for so long, so I came out of the bathroom and found that my husband had brought the baby swing into the kitchen and left the baby to cry while he cooked dinner on the stove. The baby's face was red and tears down his face. I grabbed his pacifier and tried to calm him down a bit, and my husband became irritated that I was fussing over the baby instead of getting in the shower. I went to the sink to grab a clean bottle, intending to make the bottle and sit down to feed him so he stops crying. My husband reacted instantly. He swore at me, grabbed the bottle himself and started making it. He said I was ruining his plan for the night and that I was taking over. He made the bottle and took the baby to the living room and fed him, telling me to go take my shower already. Why didn't he just feed the baby 15 minutes ago? I went and took my shower, come out and found the baby to be perfectly happy now, and my husband back at the stove and babbling with the baby. His mood was perfectly fine at this point. I decided my best option would be to go and sit in my room and try and calm down before I talked to him. He comes in and asks why I closed the door. I said I don't really want to talk to him right now, and that he is not to swear at me like that again. He immediately becomes angry and says that I didn't need to be messing with the baby when he was with him. I got a little heated with our voices raised, but nothing was said that was regrettable. In the end, I went back to the bedroom and he finished cooking. Later, he came into the room and angrily took his pillow and brought it to the living room. A clear statement that he wasn't sleeping in the bed tonight with me. I got the baby to sleep and put him to bed, and then swiped his pillow off the couch on my way back to our bedroom. I then crafted a text message basically telling him that he needs to come in and communicate with me about this, because I don't think that I deserve to be swore at for fussing over a screaming baby. So, am I the butthole for taking over when he didn't feed the baby? No, not the butthole. Like, the baby's screaming and screaming and screaming, so obviously instinct is going to make you want to go and do something about that. You could have perhaps just maybe gone, poked your head around the door and been like, oh, if you want him to stop crying, like, he's due a bottle, or not even that, just say, oh, by the way, he's due a bottle now, that's why he's crying, to give him a prompt. But your husband way overreacted there. Like, way overreacted. You were just trying to help. At the end of the day, you didn't deserve to be swore at. So, not the butthole. You're both probably very stressed at the minute, because babies are an absolute nightmare, to put it plainly. So I can see why tensions and, would ride, but yeah, not the butthole. Your husband needs to cool his jets a little bit there, doesn't he? Am I the butthole for disinviting my daughter to Thanksgiving when she won't host Thanksgiving? In our family, holidays are rotated, so one person hosts for the 4th of July, another hosts for Christmas, and another hosts for Thanksgiving, etc. This way, no one is constantly hosting, and it makes it fair for everyone. This post is about my middle daughter, Clara. Clara has always been skipping her host duties. When it gets to her, she has an excuse why she can't host. It ranges, but usually goes along the lines of stress or she is too busy. Honestly, not everyone likes being a host, and not everyone is capable. Like, some people are just really bad at hosting. That's okay. I am too. This results in other family members to pick up her holiday. It's frustrating, and multiple people have talked to her about this. She bailed on hosting Easter, but promised me that she would do Thanksgiving. We swapped holidays. At the time, I made it very clear she needed to stay true to her word, and if she dumped it on someone else, she wouldn't be going to Thanksgiving. It usually gets dumped on me. Anyway, I called asking her if she wanted me to bring a dessert board for Thanksgiving. She told me that she could not host because she had just moved into her new home. She moved in July, and that it was too messy to host. I told her that she could clean since it was a few weeks away. She told me she can't. I know the other kids can't host it. Well, one could, but she is doing Christmas, and it's not fair at all for her. I informed everyone it would be at my place this year. I also informed everyone that Clara is not invited this year to Thanksgiving. Clara was pissed when I told her, and we got into a huge argument. She thinks I'm a big jerk. My other kids are split. 2 of them are happy since they are tired of picking up her slack when this happens, while other thinks this is too far. So, outside opinion. Honestly, I don't think you're the butthole for being annoyed with it, because obviously if she's saying she will and then she's cancelling, then yeah, I can understand why you'd be annoyed. However, long and short of it is you can't force somebody to host a party at their house if they don't want to. She may be the person that just hates hosting, gets really stressed, can't organise herself for it. Some people aren't made for hosting, they really aren't, and it's okay. What I think would be a good way to meet in a happy medium, say if the host also pays for all the food or something, you could do an agreement where, okay, someone else will host at their house on her behalf, but she pays for all the food. That's obviously assuming that the person who's hosting is paying for everything. Or it gets hosted at someone else's house, but she goes and helps to set it up. So the whole responsibility isn't just on her then, because it might just be that she's just not a good host. She needs a helping hand. So you could do that, or you could say, if you do want to host at your house, then I'll come and help you set up at your house. But I have a feeling she's the sort of person who doesn't like having a bunch of people in her house and doesn't enjoy hosting. And that is me all over. I hate having loads of people in my house. I invite like one person to my house, and not even on a regular basis. I have one friend, 2 actually, I tell a lie, 2 friends that are allowed in my house, handful of family members that I will have in my house to stay over. And that's really not very regular. It's very few and far between. Some people just aren't made for that life. So yeah, I would maybe try and come to a compromise where perhaps it doesn't get hosted at her house, but she goes and helps, or she pays for the stuff, depending on if the host is the one who usually pays for everything as well. I think that would be a good way to get around it. Then no one feels left out, no one feels hard done by, but then you're also not forcing someone to host who really doesn't like to. Am I the butthole for expecting to be included in boyfriend's daughter's birthday trip? My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. We live together, we both have kids, I have mine 24/7, he has his daughter every other weekend. Sometimes his daughter stays with me for all her school break while dad works. When we got together, we agreed that we would treat each other's kids as our own. I try to be involved as much as I can, but try not to overstep as he co-parents with his ex. I haven't met his ex yet. I haven't asked to meet her, and neither has she. At this point in our relationship, I assume that I'm his family, yet he keeps me separate from his daughter when it comes to sports, birthday parties, etc. He never invites me, only says, I have this going on for my daughter, and is on his way. I have always respected it, never questioned it, and remained in the background. I'm wondering if the ex has a problem with your presence, and maybe because obviously for birthdays, I assume his ex is there. Maybe it's that his ex is kicking off, so he feels it's easier just to not include you. I would hope that that's why, because otherwise it just means he's not including you because he doesn't want to, which is kind of sad, really. 3 months ago, he mentioned he would work overtime or a second job save up for Disney for his daughter's birthday. He never invited, he only mentioned it. I assumed eventually he'd tell me more and invite me, but he didn't, and I never brought it up. A few weeks later, we had a barbecue with friends at our house. One of our friends overheard he had a Disney trip planned for his daughter's birthday without me. She told him he should take me and give me my place as his future wife in his family. I joked and said he didn't invite me because his ex doesn't want me there. Bang on, I think. I think that is bang on the money. And he avoided the comment. Well, there you go. All he said was, it's going to be my ex's first time going to Disney. She's never been there. I let it be. Moved on from it. 2 months later, he brought it up again. I asked questions like, who's all going? He said, my daughter, both both my parents and my ex is going. I said, okay. He brought up again, and this time he mentioned a friend of his ex was going, and that made me feel some type of way, but I let it be out of respect for his daughter. He talked about it again today, said he wants to go fish out there, plans to stay longer with his dad. Well, his mum, daughter, his ex, and ex's friend will come back sooner. I then said, oh, more people going? He said yes, and that his ex's sister and boyfriend will be meeting them up there. I couldn't stay quiet any longer. I asked him why I wasn't invited, since there seems to be a lot more people going, and he told me he asked his ex if I could go and she said no. There you go. I asked why did she say no, and he said she just said no and she doesn't want to meet you. It hurt my feelings, and I told him it's very messed up for him to exclude me if he wanted to me to be there, that his ex should suck it up, and that if he really wanted me there, he should have stood up to her and let her know what he wanted. I understand it's his daughter's birthday trip and it's about her, but I just felt excluded from something important in his life that I wanted to be a part of. I guess I was wrong to assume of being included, and now he is mad at me because I made it a big deal and says he won't go. He should still go. All I wanted to know was why he didn't invite me. Now I feel horrible and wondering if I cross the line with voicing my feelings. No, it's not like this is a new relationship. You've been together for 2 years. If his ex is so childish that she won't meet you, doesn't want to meet you, she's happy for you to look after her kid though during the school holidays, go figure, then no, you're not out of line at all, and he needs to tell his ex to suck it up. Why is he so concerned with his ex's opinion? Has she threatened to stop him seeing his daughter? If so, he needs to put his foot down. Like, no, not the butthole. The fella needs to put his foot down. His ex needs to grow up a lot. Am I the butthole for not waking up my roommate on the day of his final med school exam? I, 23M, and my roommate Justin, 23M, are med students. We've been living together as roommates for 2 years and we live in a hostel. Last week were our final exams and it was absolute hell. We were surviving on 2 to 3 hours of sleep daily, fueled by coffee and energy drinks. I know it's not healthy, but there is no other way to pass. Lol. Oh god, that sounds awful. On the last day of exams, Justin was unusually exhausted. Around 1 a.m, he decided to sleep and told me to wake him up at 3 a.m. I agreed. However, by 2:30 a.m, I was dead. My brain was shutting down, my notes were going blurry, and I knew if I stayed up any longer, I'd pass out. I decided to wake Justin up early. I woke Justin up at 2:30 a.m. and told him the time and suggested he set an alarm so he wouldn't oversleep. Justin sat upright, rubbed his eyes and nodded and said, all right. I was like, don't forget to set the alarm, and then almost instantly fell asleep. We both woke up at 8 a.m. I had set my alarm for 6, but I kept hitting snooze. Justin freaked out, accusing me of not waking him up as promised. I reminded him that I did wake him up at 2:30 a.m. and suggested he set an alarm. Justin said that he was too sleepy to comprehend what was happening and insisted that I should have stayed awake to wake him up at 3 a.m. or at least made sure he was fully awake before sleeping. Justin's exam didn't go well and now he's blaming me. I understand his frustration, but I think he's being unfair. Am I the butthole? No, Justin should have set an alarm for himself. He's a big boy. He could have set an alarm for himself before the first time he decided to go to sleep, and then you did wake him up and said, look, I'm probably gonna end up falling asleep, so you need to set an alarm, and he still didn't do it. It's his own fault. Don't worry. You are not responsible for grown adults and what they do with their time. He should have set an alarm. That's his problem. And after that, I'm going to leave that there. My back is in bits sitting on this flaming chair. It's a dining room chair. I don't have an actual office chair. I should really get one because honest to God, my hips and my back, I'm too old and decrepit for this, I fear. Only really early 30s and I feel like an absolute decrepit mess. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I thank you very, very much, Lee. I hope you enjoyed. Please do feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me a lot and it also helps you find me again because I will be posting again at least once a day. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to get off. I hope you have a really good day and yeah, enjoy yourself. Goodbye.